Before I tell you my story, I have to tell you that I haven't worked at Disney for 6 months. I got the gig through their college program. Getting paid to work at the happiest place on earth? Yeah, right. Nope. I could write NoSleep stories just about my day-to-day work there. But it wasn't all bad. The novelty of working there surprisingly never wore off. In mid-August, I was starting to legitimately enjoy it. That was until I got the complaint. "What's up with the new additions? It scared the shit out of my kids." I sort of look at this woman with a, "What the hell are you talking about?" face. "We haven't done any additions to the Pirates of the Caribbean in a while. When was the last time you came here?" "We were just here in December, and I'm just saying, that fish robot got way too close to the boat." For those of you who have been to Disney World, you should know that there is no fish animatronic on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. I cashed the woman out. I was working at the shop outside the ride. I then called my supervisor over the walkie-talkie and told her what she told me. "Wait, what? Fuck. I'll be right over. Go to the nearest break room." I did just that. I sat in the break room for a few minutes until my manager finally came in. She actually locked the door, so against the rules, but she wanted to make sure we were the only two in there. "So she said there was something in the water?" I told her yes. Then she asked me, "Did she say anything about hair?" I sat there really confused. I said no, and asked what she meant. Well, I got approached by a few guys, early 20s, and they told me they saw what looked like a mermaid near Barbossa's boat. I just assumed that they were high, but if someone else saw it, we need to tell the ride runners. My manager and I headed towards the inner tunnels that led to the mechanical room for the ride, when a woman sprinted out of the exit sobbing her eyes out. We quickly brought her to the break room and asked what was wrong. Through her sobs, she tried to explain that while she was on the ride, near the plundering scene, she saw something pass the boat. Now, the water in the ride is not very deep, so what she described next sounded absurd. It looked like a mix between a fish and a person. Its arms were only a few inches long, and I saw the fucking gills. It had huge eyes, no nose, and a gaping mouth. We calmly asked her what color the scales were. No, it didn't have scales. It was flesh. Within 5 minutes, the ride was shut down. I didn't have high enough clearance to know what they were doing. My manager was cool enough to tell me what they found. Near the jail scene was a disgusting mound of flesh that was left on top of one of the prop dogs, but nothing else was seen. Now, like I said before, I was just a normal worker, so I don't know about any investigations they did about the pirates incident. But I do know when the next fucked up thing happened. A few days later, I was working in Hollywood studios doing janitorial work, when I heard a family talking as they left the great movie ride. "Haha, did you hear Kevin scream at the alien scene?" A teen boy pushed a girl who I assumed was his sister. "Shut up! The robot came so close to us. Did you see its eyes?" Red flag. I assumed they were talking about the xenomorph scene, and what they were saying didn't add up. So yet again, I called up my supervisor. My supervisor there was a pretty young guy, I would say about 25, so he thought I was fucking with him when I told him. But he had heard about what happened at the Pirates ride, so he quickly took me seriously. "What did it look like?" Fuck. I had to practically chase this family down to stop them. They acted like I was accusing them of doing something wrong when I asked them about what happened. "We didn't touch any of the props, sir," the father said. "No, I don't think you did. I just would really like to know what was wrong with the animatronic." I was trying to pretend like what they saw belonged. Well, first, the slobber was a gross touch. It got on my nice sunglasses. A warning would have been nice. "I'm very sorry. Could you describe the prop so we can take a look at it?" "You don't even know your own ride? It was the ostrich human thingy." I was so confused, I asked him to explain more, and he reluctantly went on. "It was the thing covered in flesh, the bent legs, the arms in the shape of wings, and the really long neck. That one." "Oh, yeah. We'll be sure to take a look at it." I felt very uneasy, so I got away from them as quickly as I possibly could, and told my supervisor what they said. He told me that he would handle it, and to get back to work. I stalled a bit while doing my work so I could stay pretty close to the ride. It was shut down within minutes, and the plain-clothed Disney workers went inside the ride. Yep, people actually get paid to go to Disney and have fun, all to keep an eye on the guests. But then, 5 carts drove up to the ride. 8 men holding medical masks and black briefcases ran inside. This was one thing that I had never seen before. These Disney workers were breaking the magic, so it had to be serious. Luckily, this supervisor was pretty cool too, and explained what they found in there. There was little pieces of flesh scattered all around the Wizard of Oz scene. But something else was left there. A sticky note attached to one of the witch's broomsticks, with 2 words written on it.
"We're here."
The next week felt really weird among the cast members. A lot of them explained that they felt like they were always being observed, and not in the normal, "hey look, it's beauty" kind of way. And I also noticed that the secret security had been beefed up in every park. I even got talking to one of them that was down in the tunnels under the Magic Kingdom. I don't know much. They just told me that if I saw something suspicious, call the suits. People that have worked at Disney know what the suits are. They are pretty much Disney CIA. No, not in some freaky conspiracy kind of way. But whenever there is a serious threat to the patron's safety in the parks, the suits are there to respond. They don't actually wear suits, we just call them that because of the CIA parallel. They are usually behind the scenes ready to go at any given moment. They do all wear black polos though, so if you're at Disney and you see an unusually high amount of black polos in one area, you are probably in danger and don't even know it. But back to the story. The last time I was involved in one of these incidents was 2 days before I quit. I was on the nightly cleanup shift when all the patrons left the park. I was out there cleaning their shit up. This particular night I was working alone in the line for Splash Mountain. The engineers had just passed me, so I assumed they were done with their nightly inspections. But in passing they told me that a garbage bag had been ripped open, and I had a lot of work to do. Yep, they were right. Near the sign that says "Last Chance to Exit," a fully filled garbage bag had been ripped open, and garbage was everywhere. After 10 minutes I was nearly done cleaning it up, until I heard a quiet voice.
"Hop, hop, hop."
I looked up and saw that right at the entrance of the ride, a log was in the water, and someone was in the front seat. The lights were all off, and I had left my flashlight on the ground, so I could barely see the person besides the outline of their body.
"Hop, hop, hop."
"Hey, the ride is closed. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, please." I could see the figure shift. Whoever it was getting out of the log, so I picked up my flashlight and shined it on them. To this day, I wish I hadn't. On the platform was this monstrosity on all fours in a crab-walking formation, but its head was straight up. Jesus Christ, its head. It had the eyes of a human, but the nose of a rabbit, and I shit you not, tall fucking ears. And it wasn't covered in fur or any type of clothing. It was covered in bare flesh. Even the ears were covered with flesh. The creature started to advance towards me in awkward jerking motions. But it was moving pretty slow, so I sprinted back towards the exit. As I was racing towards the exit, I pulled out my walkie-talkie and screamed into it that I needed a suit right away. I stood outside the entrance for about a minute, making sure that thing wasn't behind me anymore. One of the suits finally came. This time, it was something that I had never seen before. He had a pistol with him. The suit checked all over the ride, and only found a few things. Little piles of flesh, and another sticky note taped to one of the vultures before the big drop.
"We won't leave."
For the next day, they let me stay in a nice hotel room in one of their top hotels. People came into the room a few times asking me what I had seen. But when I started to ask them questions, they all seemed to clam up. This pissed me off to no end, so I decided to quit. I'm sorry to finish this rather anticlimactically, but since I quit, the company has cut literally all ties with me. Back around December, for some reason, I really wanted to go back there. They said yes, but only if I could do a screening. They gave no context for that, so I declined. I don't know what happened with those weird occurrences. The cast members that I still talk to said no weird shit has gone down since that night. I have my theories on what those things were, but all I can say is, Disney is a much more powerful corporation than people think. I personally believe that those things were a product of someone that Disney had pissed off, or something they had created themselves. All I know is what I saw last summer will never leave my mind.
There's always a reason to be afraid.